Good evening, Young Living Dream Team. My name is Rob. My wife, Alina, is here in the background as well. We are your Young Living support team. We are super excited to bring to you this evening two very special guests as we continue our Silver Series call. These are ladies who are crushing their businesses. They have both won the Silver in 6 contest, meaning that they won, not only have they gotten to silver, but they did it in such a pace that they won the Aroma Complete kit from the company. We all know that's the full collection. It's $2,000. These ladies are both winners of that, so they are making it happen, right? They've got full-time lives going on. They've got things that they're juggling and doing. They're all over the place, and still they're making their business happen. So we appreciate them taking the time to be here with us this evening. First up, Tanya DiDomenico. We are super excited to have her on the line. Tanya, I know you're there. If you would, just maybe let people know how you were introduced to the company and kind of give us your story.
Yeah, well, I was introduced to Young Living 3 years ago in March, and by John Tubbs. Hey, JT. And when I met with him and his now wife, with the oils, I was just completely blown away. I immediately had a connection with them. I didn't know what it was. I thought I just wanted my home to smell good without the chemicals. And these oils completely took me on a completely different direction. And my journey with them and what this has created for my life and now the life of my boyfriend, Matt, is just like, I'm really, I try not to get teary-eyed syndrome here. Leaky eye syndrome, that's what Gary Young says. We're just continuously amazed about what this is doing for our life and the community that we're building together. And so how this all started, 3 years ago, John introduced me the oils, and I became a product of the product, and I loved all of the Young Living products. I loved all of the oils. I loved trying different oils. I loved, getting a new oil and then opening up my reference guide and seeing what oil and what could help me with this and what these oils can do and how these oils can help. And I was just so amazed by all of the new things I was learning, and I became immediately part of the Young Living community. And what that meant was I was going to classes. I was talking to people who were already living this lifestyle and hearing what it has done for them. And that really inspired me to tell other people what this is all about. And I just, I was that crazy oil person. If you stepped anywhere near like speaking distance, I was talking oils. I was that crazy person. You need these oils, they're so amazing, oh my goodness. And looking back, I kind of want to cringe, but at the same time, I think that is one of the most valuable things that, building the business with Young Living has taught me is, the self-development. When the oils came into my life, they couldn't have come at a better time. There's a quote that was said at convention, and it said, for a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction. And that is the perfect example of how my life was at the moment, like completely outside of the Ulu wheel. I was not even in the Ulu wheel. It was just so off balance. And these oils gave me hope. And I couldn't help but tell other people about that. Like I couldn't help but not have that passion. What these oils and these products have done for my life, I couldn't hold it in. But there was a lot of skills that I needed to learn in order to be, a leader and to really, I think our mission here is to help as many people as we possibly can in the shortest amount of time as possible. And, just looking at the scope of what we can do here, it empowers me every day. And those days where I felt discouraged, I just did not listen to that voice that said, you know what, go on to the next thing. This is just something you can enjoy for yourself. There's just no way that this is just too good to be true. I didn't listen to that voice. I just kept saying, you know what? Don't give up. Do not give up. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And I just kept following that voice of hope and not just for myself, but everyone around me in my life. And that brings it to the next step in how I started, to really gain momentum was, taking advantage of the third-party tools like the 4-Year Career and GoPro. And I've listened to that Jim Rohn network marketing CD. I couldn't tell you how many times Matt can do an impersonation of Jim Rohn that is just so spot on. It's hysterical. So we listened to that CD over and over and over and over again. And we just kept letting that information sink in because we had a lot of deprogramming of thoughts that we held on for so long that were holding us back, and, major ULA blockers here. And we just kept visualizing what we wanted to achieve. And when it came to silver, I just kept visualizing that kit in my hands and getting that feeling of what it was going to feel like when that kit arrived, and all of the effort that I put in to make that happen. And that came with really stepping out of my comfort zone and helping people get started in their journey. And a lot of my meetings at first were one-on-ones. I did a lot of one-on-ones, and actually those seeds I planted a couple years ago when I first started sharing the oils, they started popping up years later. And I just never stopped watering them, because these people were my friends. And if you're my friend, you need oils. I want you to have oils. I want you to be happy. And I know oils make you happy. So I, made sure all of my friends got their oils, and many of them got them just to make me happy. But after they actually opened up the box and started using them, they started telling people, and it's just an incredible feeling to be able to build this with your friends, but also meet an incredible group of people that creates this community of Young Living. And it was just really, for me, taking advantage of all of it and just visualizing what I want and what I can achieve. And going to convention, oh my goodness, you feel the energy. It's intense, it's exhausting, but because you're getting so much information and there's so many other people around you, but we're all on the same mission. And there's a great, powerful energy there. So when I went to convention last year, I was at Senior Star, and I was lagging at Senior Star for a long time, longer than I felt I should have, but also I had a lot of growth in that period of time for me to step into the role of being a leader and achieving silver. So it prepared me for that, and to me that I'm forever grateful. But yeah, I was at Silver Senior Star for a really long time, and Matt and I went to Mastermind and learned a lot there. And after Mastermind, we started to put out, there's a great training that we did, and we suggest that, if you want to build with Young Living, you should try it too. And that was Operation Silver. So we just plugged, as many as we could. We put an announcement out on our Oil Obsessed page, and we found a good 7 people that were committing to Operation Silver. And from those 7 people, they're still actively building, but a couple of those people are just Zooming and doing. I have a friend who hi April, she was my very dear friend growing up, and our lives took a completely different direction. She's married, she has kids, and I was, I'm just a tumbleweed floating in the wind. You never know where I'm going to be. I love being here. I love being there. And that's also another reason why Young Living fits into my lifestyles, because I can do it anywhere. I can share anywhere. And that's just such a beautiful freedom to have. So anyways, she was one of the first people that I shared with. And we met at a Starbucks. She was with her daughter. Her mind was not even focused on the oils. She's just like, yeah, okay. And she had an interest, but it took a couple of years for her to like jump in. And I just wanted to make that a point because, you know, we can't give up on people. We have something that people need to know. People really need to know what we have to offer, and whether that's through the products we have, whether that's, you know, someone looking for a purpose, because, I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else to have a greater purpose. Just by helping a few, we can help many. I mean, that to me is just what it's all about. And the financial freedom, the abundance to do the things that we enjoy doing and to experience. And one of my favorite things to do is traveling. And in October, I'm going to India. I saved my checks, and I'm going to India in October. So, you know, Young Living made that happen, you know, and now that Young Living took me to a certain place, you know, the reason why it got there also very quickly is because of my support system. I got very lucky with Matt. He was the only guy that I dated in New York to ask me out on a second date, because the first was I would just talk about the oils. And it was really good practice for me. I'm like, you know, I'm never going to see these people again. I'm just going to practice and talk oils. And I did. And they never did call me again except Matt. So, having him aboard and seeing him and his journey unfold is an incredible gift, and us being able to do it together. And after this convention, he was into it, but after this convention, like, oh my goodness, he is just ready to roll. Like, he is so pumped. He is so excited. And we're beyond we can't put it into words of what this is doing for our life and the things that we see with Young Living and reaching Royal Crown Diamond. We're beyond excited for the journey.
Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. It's such a great story, and it's one of just a natural growth process, right? I mean, you made a decision to really go for it, and by doing so, you show up at the event and you go to things like Mastermind. If you guys don't know what Mastermind is, it's a generic training. There's no recruiting. You can't talk about your company. You just go to learn about what it is to be a leader in our profession, you know, from people who are crushing it. And when I say crushing it, I mean, you know, at least $100,000 a month earner, you know, so these people are, you know, and so it's really, really powerful. It's down in Orlando in November. If you are even considering, I would strongly suggest you go. And like Tanya said, convention, we're just fresh off convention, and, you know, a tremendous experience every time we go. And I know you guys, are you going back next year and bringing your team?
Oh yeah. Sure. It's just, you know, we really don't see what Young Living is all about until we go to convention. We really don't. I mean, we know the products are great, but to go and to see, I mean, each session had almost 10,000 people. So to see 9,999 people just as crazy as you are about what this lifestyle has done for them is just awesome.
And next year we're expecting it's going to be in Salt Lake City in June, and we're going to do 30,000 people. I know there have already been 10,000 tickets sold. So if you want to go, I would suggest you grab your tickets early for that. You know, again, if you have team members, make sure they've got a ticket. Guys, I can tell you I've been to several of these grand conventions with Young Living, and they're always awesome. But when you're in Salt Lake, you get to go to the farm, and you get to see the actual, you know, this is where, you know, it happens, which is, I don't know another company that brings you in and shows you and wants you to participate and get a feel for the heart and soul of the company the way Young Living does. And then the foundation, right? I mean, this company gives back to charity in a tremendous way. I think to the tune of, it was over $1 million, I think, was generated by the donations of the distributors and of corporate and of Life Science Publishing that donated their, I think it was $100,000 that they donated, you know, so all of that money going to charity to give back to the communities where Young Living, you know, down in Ecuador where we have the farm. now we're growing into a charity mission in Africa, and where we can really make a huge difference. And, maybe just tell everybody a little bit about your convention experience, if you would.
Well, for Matt and I, we really love our space, and we love the Zen, and it's really funny that we're saying that coming from New York City. But, energetically, convention, it's as soon as you get off the plane, you're go, 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 go. You don't stop. So, we really had to just relax and chill out during the process. But again, if you're waiting in line, you make the best of it. I turn around hey, how did Young Living come into your life? And some stories just make your jaw drop. And unfortunately, we're not able to share those stories openly. So convention is a really great place to connect with people that have been using the lifestyle for various reasons. And, because everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own story with why these oils came into their life. And it's so awesome to be able to hear these stories from all over the world, not just the United States. And the information you learn, and you really get a feel of who Gary Young is and who Mary Young is and who that family is and really what he has achieved. I mean, when he was talking about the Northern Lights black spruce, I was just blown away. I mean, this guy worked in 50 below weather to get us these bottles into our hands. I mean, it's just mind blowing to me. So it really validated, my reasoning being with Young Living and wanting to continue to grow, because this is just so much more than oils. This is changing paradigms in so many different ways, and it feels really good to be part of their mission. And Matt and I were talking. We are about to sponsor one of the children in Ecuador, so we're really excited about that.
Awesome.
And that feels really good to be able to give back. And my why at this point in my life is just to travel the world with the person I love and save animals and help people. That's my why right now. And going to convention just reaffirms your why no matter what it is.
I like that. You're dead on. It shows you the heart and soul of the company. It gives you the greater sense of purpose, but it helps you, like you said, when you meet the people and that magic happens in the hallway, online, waiting for something. And I was a presenter this year, and I've been to many breakouts, and the classes are great, but those conversations in the hallway, when you run into somebody, that's where the real career-changing magic moments happen, and you cannot replace that with a CD or a webinar or even a call like this. I mean, we try to give you but you got to show up at the event, and the big convention, there's no replacing that. And so I would encourage all of you, get on for next year as soon as you can. So Tanya, you shared so many good tips with us. The third-party tools. You did a lot of one-on-ones, which is awesome. We encourage one-on-ones, small groups, however you guys decide to do it. I know you guys have been really savvy with your social media also. You guys are really experts at putting out quality posts. So maybe you can just give us a couple of tips on how to make our social media, improve our social media posts.
Oh, well, this is actually really funny because Matt, he kept saying to me, Tanya, we should create a page on Instagram. And here I'm like, no, it's not duplicatable. What you can do is not duplicatable for other people. And we had such a resistance to it. And so he just kept getting on me about it. He's like, I think we should do it. I think we should do it. I'm like, okay, I trust you. But I am just going to do this over here. You just focus on building whatever you want to do on Instagram. And it took a couple months to figure it out, but Matt just started really having fun with posting photos about the oils and how we're incorporating it into our lifestyles. Nothing like, order oils through us, and here's our member number. It was more of telling a story of how these oils were being used in our lives and the other products of Young Living. And over the span from, I would say, April, and convention was June, when we went to convention, like, people were coming up to us like, oh my goodness, you're oil obsessed. You're oil, and I'm just like, what's going on here? And I was just really like taken aback because Matt's work was really working. And over the next few months, he just built this incredible page of storytelling of how these oils are being used. And I think when it comes to social media, that's what people really want to see. You know, they don't want to know your member number up front. They want to know why you're using this. Like, why is this meaning so much to you? You know, what is it doing for you? You know, and just a perfect example, you know, that it was just one avenue that Matt and I created relationships with people in our organization. We've built a team in Canada through his Instagram page. I'm actually having a call at 10 a.m. through someone that I met through Instagram. So there is incredible power through social media that I think is a complete call in itself, which I know Matt would be more than happy to give some tips on. But definitely be on social media. We're having a blast on Periscope. Periscope is just so much fun. And if you are not comfortable doing videos yet, just add people who are doing Periscope. You know, we're Essential Oil Obsessed or Oil Obsessed, one of those two. Matt runs it. But we have so much fun. And we just, you know, if we get a package delivered, Matt opens it up and he does a Periscope and he takes people through what's in our box and talks about the product. Get creative, have fun. I think that's what people take things so seriously, and social media is a really great way to have fun with attracting a new audience outside of your more market.
Yeah, it's perfect. You shared, I think, maybe one of the best tips of all is that we don't try to come across like a commercial with here's my member number, but we're just telling the story of our lives, and we're showing people how it, you know, and that's a different way to get the message across. It's not selling. We don't want to sell. We want to story tell, and that's really, I think, that's probably the number one tip I was hoping you would share with everybody. But you guys do a great job of that. And so, guys, if you want a good example of how to share the stuff, go follow them, right, on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can get connected with them. Tell them again how to get connected with you guys.
On Instagram, it's Essential Oil Obsessed, and on Periscope, it's Oil Obsessed. Because, I don't, it was like one name was taken or something. Someone took our name after we created it, but it's okay. Oil Obsession for everybody.
Perfect. Well, like I said, you shared a couple of great tips there. We will look to set up a time to hear from Matt about some, maybe social media 102 stuff, right, the next level, and how we really take it to a whole nother level. But anything else you would want to share? Like, so now that you've got your team is growing, and obviously you're silver and 6 winners, so that's the Aroma Complete kit, and obviously the silver trip coming up at some point for you. And, life is good, right? Business is growing. What are anything that you know now that you wish you could tell yourself when you were brand new, like, oh, I wish I had known this, first week or month or, first year I was in this?
I mean, I think it's just keeping it super simple and getting yourself out of the way, really letting the tools speak for you, and, just consider yourself someone passing information on to someone. I was at a little cafe a couple days ago doing a one-on-one, and, the phone service was horrible, so I couldn't sign her up through the internet. I'm like, well, let's just call Young Living. I called Young Living in, and I'm like, here, and I just passed the phone to her, and she signed up right then and there. And it was just letting the tool do it, I just removed myself from the situation, and I look at that every single time I go to interact with someone. I just give them a 4-year to see if I'm speaking about the business. And if I'm talking about why our oils stand out above the rest, I send them to seed2seal.com and I follow up. And I think that is one thing that I didn't do in the beginning, and I feel guilty about those people because I want to reach out to them and say, no, I did it wrong. Let me follow up with you and let's go through your kit and go through each oil and see how they can benefit you. And I think right now it's follow up. Anyone who gets started with our team, I love calling and connecting with them, and some are easier to connect with than others, but that helps me step into my fear and to be able to talk to anyone. And I think the fortune is in the follow-up, and when you do call people out of the blue, it does take them aback, but they know that you care, and that creates relationships, and that's what this is about.
Powerful that you let the tools speak for you. When you're talking to somebody in the one-on-one, let them live the 4-year career. I like to add the income disclosure statement with that book.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Yeah, and then you're right on with Seed to Seal. I mean, that answers why is Young Living different? Why is this better? Why would I get this instead of what's at the health food store? And that answers everything right there for you. You can just review that with people. That's also in the product guide. If you guys have the product guide there on the spot, but perfect. And then again, follow up. I love that because you're right on. It's the fortunes in the follow up, and I love what you said. I wish I could go back and I'm sorry I screwed it up. Because over the years, as we've learned, we feel the same way. People that we introduced way back in the beginning. I wish I know now. I wish I knew it then. And so to be able to share some of those tips, like if you guys are brand new and you're still afraid to talk to people, which is normal, right? We're all afraid to talk to people in the beginning. Like she said, the sooner you step into that fear, the sooner you get through it. We heard from Maynard to mention the guy climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. He was born no arms below the elbows and no legs, and he still summited that mountain, right? And what do you say, Tanya? It was like none of my excuses have ever helped me get closer to my dreams.
And there was another one that says, not dead, can't quit.
Not dead, can't quit. I love it.
I think that was that. I think that's what it was, and that right there just goes to show, like you can't give up. Everyone's story is so different. Some people are going to climb ranks quick. Some people are going to take slower pace. But I think the end thing is you can't give up. You just have to continue to work on your inner self and your self-development, learn a couple skills, and, just commit to that and commit to this path, because really there's no – I was considered unemployable. I jumped from job to job to job in the fashion industry. I burned many bridges in the fashion industry. Then I went on to real estate. So this by far is the easiest way to create a lifestyle of our dreams. We just have to take advantage of what is the opportunity that's given to us. And the moment that someone gets their kit, they have an opportunity that it's so big that some people, it's hard for them to even imagine. And that's what we're here for. We're here to guide them and show them, yes, this is possible, and yes, you can do it. And it can be done if we just commit and believe.
Absolutely. Commitment and belief. That's the two primary ingredients. You got to decide, and you got to give it 100%. There's no going back. You can't give up. You can't turn around when it gets hard. You just got to forge ahead. And having known you this entire time and this entire journey, as we attempted to get you your starter kit, and you guys just don't know, she was traveling to Australia when she signed up, and so we had to try to get the kit to catch up with her in Australia, and I'm not actually sure how it caught up with her, but thankfully it did somehow.
Yeah,
but,
it did. It had to be shipped back to the States. That's a whole nother story in itself, but it's a funny one.
So, sometimes you just gotta see things through, and it's not always smooth, but when those seeds begin to open, you never know what the possibilities are. You never know what somebody's going to do, what kind of a lifestyle they'll turn it into for themselves, and what differences it will make. And so, Tanya, thank you for setting such a great example for all of us. I appreciate your tenacity and your determination, to grow personally. And I can tell all of you, I've known Tanya this entire time she's been in Young Living, and it's been awesome to see you grow through this process. And I look forward to the future. I know you guys have your sights set on the very top of the company, and I have no doubt we will be interviewing you again soon for gold and right on all the way up until you guys are standing on the top of this thing. So I appreciate your time. Thank you again. And Matt, appreciate you being there as a support system too, and all the support and help you give to the team and the organization with your skills and everything. So at this